Guardianship, I'll tell you a good story about guardianship. So guardianship, do you need a guardian? Are you an incapacitated person, unable to conduct your day-to-day affairs? And they need to be incapacitated due to mental impairment, retardation, old age, or disease. I've had a few cases where mom is a widower. Mom has millions of dollars. Mom's in her 60s. Mom has a couple of crappy kids who are adults now. Who want mom's money? Kids. And one case I'm thinking in particular, they filed a petition in probate court. Mom owned a big mansion on Lake Makatawa. And one kid was nice, 2 kids were not nice. They filed a petition to gain guardianship over mom and to be her conservator. Basically get access to all her money. This woman was 72 years old. She drove herself to East Grand Rapids every Tuesday to play bridge with her friends. We did her cognitive testing. They said she had dementia. We did her cognitive testing. She did amazing. Particularly, you know, at 72, you might see some age-related declines. She didn't even have those. She was a brilliant woman. Very sharp, very together. So I had to do her evaluation for guardianship. I said, this woman is smarter than, you know, half the people I know. And she's really together. There's no mental disease or defect operating. So they threw out the case. Okay? All right. These can get kind of complicated sometimes, particularly if families come in. And you might have someone who's got a drug problem. You know, how does drugs, having a drug problem fitting into being an incapacitated person? Is a drug problem mental impairment, retardation, old age, or disease? It's tricky. When I do a guardianship eval, I need to get very specific about all the things. I need to list all their medications, their dose, and any effects each medication has on a person's behavior. And you got to do a prognosis for improvement, because if they want, they'll get rid of the guardian if there's a good chance for improvement.
So in my research on how the forensic psychology concept of guardianship is applied outside the United States, I found that the UK, Australia, and Canada often use the term incapacitated or incapacity and generally define it as the same way as I talked about in the lecture. However, the one thing that is different in other jurisdictions or other countries versus how guardianship is applied in the United States really falls on the types of guardians. And this actually varies among the different states in the United States. So for example, in Michigan, we have someone that's called a full guardian. We also have someone who's called a conservator. They only can make decisions about money. We also have what's called partial guardianship. Certain things this court-appointed guardian has basically makes the decisions for the person, but other things they cannot. In the UK, they have what's called sole guardians. They have joint guardians. They have substitute guardians. My research found that in Australia, you have something called enduring guardians. So the concept of utilizing forensic psychology in order to determine whether or not someone needs a guardian is similar among the 4 countries. But the terms and the types of guardians or the types of guardianships may vary. Now I found that in Australia and Canada, there tend to be very specific laws about guardianship like we see here in the United States. The UK, in my research, was a bit different. The UK tended to rely more on case law rather than on specific criteria outlined in a law or statute. Maybe I missed some of these, but what I found in my research is that a lot of it was based on the case law, which frankly is fine. So again, the concept of guardianship and forensic psychology is similar across the 4 countries that we're talking about. The different types of guardianships or the roles or tasks of the guardians may vary. The other thing that's important to recognize too is that even if a forensic psychology concept is not specifically outlined or detailed in a law, it still can have legal standing. I will talk about that in future lessons about sometimes there's not a law available, but you have to go to the case law or sometimes the professional literature in order to find the concept that you're developing a question to answer when you apply forensic psychology with these types of situations.